Time for a bold and beautiful return? Courtney Hope says Sally Spectra still has unfinished business in LA. Sally Spectra is thriving in Genoa City on the young and the restless, but Courtney Hope admits she still thinks about the fiery redhead's bold life back in Los Angeles. Hope shared her thoughts in a recent interview with Soaps.com on whether she believes Sally stays in touch with anyone from the bold and the beautiful universe, and we love how much thought she's given to the idea. You know what's so funny? I was just thinking about this last week because Bold and Beautiful moved from the building, and I'm like, oh, I miss the family here, she says. Then I was thinking about Sally, and I was like, I wonder if Sally ever talks to Wyatt, Darren Brooks? He said, we need some time apart. You just need to go regroup. Hope reminisces about Sally's former life on the West Coast. And I thought, I wonder if I ever regrouped and got back in touch, you know? Wyatt and Sally may not have recovered from her fake medical emergency designed to win him back, but Hope thinks her character has earned a little more respect lately over the last few years in Genoa City. She knows that there are some grudges to be held against Sally, but she has hopes that she'd still be friends with Liam, Scott Clifton. Hope believes there's more to her Liam story, maybe one day in the future. There was really not that much explored with Liam. It was like, oh, we're potentially dying. Oh, I think I love you, which was so funny. But I understood it, she says of Sally avoiding a potentially dangerous run-in with Steffi, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, who was with Liam at the time. Sally doesn't want to die while she's sleeping because Steffi's powerful. Watch out, watch your back, she laughs. Then that was the end of it and Wyatt came along and I love Sally and Wyatt. I think that there is a possibility that she does still talk to them, and I hope she does because she might need them for some connections in her future business endeavors. While there is no crossover currently planned for Sally to visit her friends and enemies over on The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope is keeping her fingers crossed for a future storyline. It would create drama because there are definitely people who will hold grudges against her, Hope sums up. I think she's got some unfinished business with a lot of people over there. So, you never know. Watch our full interview with Courtney Hope, where she discusses Sally's relationships with Adam and Billy in the video above, and learn more about the original Sally Spectra, played by Darlene Conley, in the gallery below. Time for a bold and beautiful return. Sally Spectra's unfinished business. Los Angeles had always been loud, sunbright, ego-packed, and humming with ambition like a neon-lit beehive. But tonight it was quiet. Strange that the city Sally Spectra once tried to conquer felt like it had paused mid-stride, waiting for her. She hadn't meant to come back. Sally had sworn years ago that she was done. Done with the heartbreaks, done with the fashion feuds, done with the taste of endless almosts. Genoa City had been a detour, a place to heal, to hide, to reinvent herself. And she had. Mostly. But unfinished business has a way of tugging at a person like a loose thread. And Sally had always been made of fabric that refused to unravel neatly. She stepped onto the sidewalk in her iconic crimson heels, heels that once echoed through the hallways of Forrester Creations and Spectra Fashions with the confidence of a woman who knew she was destined to be legendary. The night breeze carried the scent of the Pacific, tinged with memory. She inhaled deeply, letting it settle into her bloodstream like courage. Welcome home, Spectra, she whispered to herself. Chapter 1. The Ghosts of Runways Past. Sally hadn't told anyone she was returning. Not her friends up north, not her frenemies down here, and especially not the Forresters. She had simply packed 2 suitcases, one full of clothes, one full of designs she'd drawn at 3 a.m. during her most restless nights, and driven down the California coast until her heart stopped pounding. The city landscape unfolded like an old photograph, glossy, familiar, slightly faded around the edges. Her first stop wasn't a hotel. It wasn't even the old Spectra building. It was a hill overlooking downtown, the exact spot where she once stood with dreams bigger than her budget and hair redder than her temper. What am I even doing? She muttered. The wind didn't answer. It never did. Sally knew better than to return unprepared. LA wasn't the kind of city that welcomed home long-lost daughters with open arms. It was the kind that asked, "What do you have for me now? Why should I remember you?" Well, she had an answer. Because Sally Spectra was not done. Not with designing. Not with fighting. And definitely not with love, though she'd never admit that part out loud. Chapter 2. The Spectra Flame. Her car rolled to a stop outside the abandoned Spectra Fashions building. The sign was still there, rusty, faded, forgotten, but hanging on. Just like her. She touched the S in Spectra and felt a spark. Her mother, her aunt, her grandmother, they had all carried this legacy. It wasn't just fashion. It wasn't even ambition. It was rebellion stitched into fabric. And rebellion, Sally knew, never stayed quiet for long. I could reopen this, she said quietly. The idea hit her so hard she laughed aloud. A new Spectra. Sleeker. Sharper. Smarter. Not copying Forrester. Not chasing approval. Just being undeniably Sally. But buildings required money. And allies. And someone who hadn't sworn off the fashion world after the mess she left behind. Sally sighed. Why is nothing ever easy? Because if it were, you wouldn't be interested. Her heart shot into her throat as she spun around. There, leaning casually against her car, arms crossed and eyebrow raised, was the last person she expected. Thomas Forrester. Chapter 3. Threads that never fully break. Thomas looked the same, dangerously charming, infuriatingly handsome, and carrying that calm confidence that suggested he knew more than he let on. Well, he said. If it isn't the comeback queen. How did you know I'd be here? Sally stammered. He shrugged. Because this is where you always come when you're about to do something reckless. That's ridiculous, she said. It's true, he replied. Sally's stomach twisted. Of all the unfinished business she had in Los Angeles, Thomas ranked high on the list she never admitted existed. I'm not here to cause trouble, she said quickly. Good. Thomas stepped closer. Because trouble usually finds you anyway. She bristled. I'm serious. So am I, he said gently. That tone, the soft one, the one only he ever used with her, was too much. Sally looked away. I might reopen Spectra, she said. Thomas exhaled, long and thoughtful. Then you're going to need help. I'm not asking for any, she snapped. You never have to ask, he said. And there it was. The thing that always complicated everything between them. The reason she left in the first place. He cared, he always cared, and he didn't know how to stop.